Good evening, everybody. This is the Roaming Prepper channel. Pete here. I hope all of you are having an amazing night. For those of you on the road, be careful out there. There's bad weather everywhere. Tonight, we have a Prepper X-Files special, and I have a special guest who I will introduce right now. Tennessee Tactical from the East Coast, live online to join us today.
What is up? Patriots and Preppers, how y'all doing?
There you go. Well, folks, y'all saw the thumbnail, and I know Arkansas Whoop-Ass had commented. I love this comment. It's too good of a title to post, then make us wait 3 days. So the question is, America, are we becoming North American Gulag? Let's check out this video because I think this first video is going to really kick off our conversation as to what was going on overseas a while ago, and then we'll start talking about what's happening here. So hang on, y'all. Let's get this puppy going.
Physical.
Uh-oh. All right, no audio. Let me try that again, y'all. That did not work as planned. Let me try that one more time, y'all. Hold on a second here. And hold on just a second.
You could see it, you just couldn't hear it. That was like, wow. I was like, wow.
All right, let's restart that one because what was happening here. Let me know if y'all. I'm going to stay on this time. Let's see if y'all.
A woman dragged from her car by police at a checkpoint has told 7 News she feared for her life. The incident was sparked when she refused to show officers her license. One expert claims the arrest may have been unlawful.
It was a routine checkpoint inspection that quickly escalated.
What the are you doing? What the are you doing?
Police dragged Natalie Benet from her car after she repeatedly refused to hand over her license.
I just thought I'm going to die. Yeah, like this is scary, right?
It began when an officer questioned the 29-year-old about the phone holder on her windscreen.
He just came across really arrogant and just really rude.
That's not the problem anymore. The problem is you're not stating your name to me.
Just because I have a car charger.
Can you get out of the car, please?
No, I don't feel safe. You're armed. It wasn't like a stubborn, like, I'm not going to hand over my license. It was more just like, I just didn't want to deal with him.
It came across as very stubborn in the video.
The beauty salon owner was handed.
Where could I be? Osama bin Laden? Like, who am I going to be?
Officers tried to explain the law.
Well, what crime have I committed? Is that a crime? Is that a criminal offense? Okay.
But an expert says that should have happened much earlier, and the arrest was arguably unlawful.
Putting his hands on her, he's probably allowed to do that because she's refusing to provide her name and address. But when he does that, he has to very, very clearly explain what he is doing, why he is doing it, and that she's under arrest. And on the video, that certainly doesn't appear that that's happening.
Ms. Benet is facing a range of offences, including resisting arrest, assaulting police, and driving with a phone holder obscuring her vision.
Did you want 15 minutes of fame? Is that why you hit record?
Well, it was only a minute video, so no.
Tegan Dolling, 7 News.
So apparently that was a COVID checkpoint. That's the whole reason they stopped her. It wasn't like she ran a red light. Okay. She was speeding.
Okay.
That's how it started. And then she didn't have her license. Last I checked in Texas, unless you're being really shady, that's a summons.
Right.
Was that too much, man?
They use, yeah, they use that to go 3 steps further. Looks like to me there's about 3 things going wrong here in this scenario. You know, she didn't have her license, which doesn't look good, but then they took it too far. That's serious overreach. That's borderline. Yeah, it's yeah.
And
Hard to watch.
she was not a big person. It wasn't like she was being belligerent. If anything, she was kind of curling up in a ball, trying to get away from these guys.
Look, 3 charges too. She's looking at 3 charges, and really about maybe one of those could stick. Probably just one of those. Yeah. But it was over a vac stop. So yeah.
Right. Because you notice they gloss over in the report. They say, "Oh well, you know, she didn't provide her license." But why were they stopping her? Well, it was a checkpoint. Well, what was it there for? It wasn't at night where you could say, "Oh, you know, it's like a drunk driving checkpoint." You know, public safety on a Saturday. It's the middle of the day.
So where'd this happen?
This was in Australia.
Oh well, there you go, RP.
Right.
I love my Australian people, but y'all.
So what was it in the 90s? They had a shooting incident, which was unfortunate, and they banned firearms pretty much almost across the board. And but now there's honest to God, I don't think there's a check and balance system there. Their constitution, I don't think structured the way our is, where it's, you know, like Tennessee and Texas could tell the feds, well, we're not enforcing that. And, you know, you can send guys here to enforce it, but good luck.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder, RP, watching all the time, you know, watching especially a lot of the great channels that we follow, if this stuff is coming here. Like, I'm like 9 months ago, I was like, nah, it ain't coming here. But now today I feel a little differently. Like, you know, I don't know. This is America. We might be the last place that is going to say no. I'm not going to do it, RP. I'm not going to.
No. And what concerns me, look, if they're like, well, we won't let you into a private venue, that's one thing. But they're talking about blocking people from going to grocery stores in Austria.
It's happening. Is it not, RP? Don't we have evidence to suggest that people are being kept away from things in Austria, Australia, certain parts of Europe? It's bad, right? I mean,
yeah.
What is Israel was talking about? If you know the 4th one, getting the 4th, you know, hey, you gotta. Then the 4th one doesn't seem to have any effect.
You know, now I had someone say, you know, that's the mark of the beast. I think that's the mark of the dollar. The mark of the beast will be much more subtle. You know, I had someone actually throw crypto would be the mark of the beast kind of thing. But is it necessary?
Their profits, you know, nobody else is profiting. Well, Walmart and places like that are, but those companies, those 3 top companies, they've made billions, man, billions in this time. While mom and pop are done, man. They were cooked the first time. That I don't know.
So next week I can't go to any big box store, Costco including. Now you are in Western Canada, if I recall correctly, in that general area, right, Monique? See, and this is what I'm talking about. It's not even like, well, if you don't have medication, you know, and that's fine. That's a personal decision, but wear a mask to protect others, keep your drool to yourself. Fair enough, but how can you tell people we're going to deny you food?
That just doesn't even sound right when you say it to me, because I don't know. We're different. I hear Australian and people in chats all night long and in streams, and I can't believe it. The stuff they're putting up with, and I love Australians. Like Wayne and Lynn are my favorite people in this whole community.
Oh, yeah.
And what they're having to live through is, to me, is tyranny. For me, it's tyranny.
Well, so that video we just watched it was a while ago. It was a few months. It was sometime last year. Yeah. Here's one this one's within the last month or so. I'm going to throw this one up here, man, because this one kind of concerns me as well, because now it's a question of, well, can it be more nefarious? Will it be used against certain groups? So check this out.
Raising questions over the right way to enforce social distancing
Can
in
y'all
New
hear?
York City. That debate is causing divisions in the communities they serve, especially after the NYPD released numbers showing the racial disparity in arrests. Our Aaron Katersky reports.
This is the video that raised questions about how New York City is enforcing social distancing.
What are you flexing for? Don't flex. You get lost up too. Look. He ain't even do no. He ain't even do nothing. Look. He ain't even do nothing.
Coronavirus has become the latest touch point in the relationship between police and some of the communities they serve.
That was very alienating to so many people in this city.
Police relations in this community have not improved.
As nicer weather brings more New Yorkers outdoors, police are moving in to keep them at a safe distance. Between March 16th and May 5th, the NYPD handed out 374 summonses for violations of emergency measures. The vast majority were issued to Black and Hispanic New Yorkers. During the same period, officers made 125 arrests related to COVID-19. 90% of those arrested were Black or Hispanic.
In some of the cases, they start off as an issue of social distancing. In some of the cases, that's not what it is. There are other reasons why these encounters started.
No one gets arrested in the city for failing to keep 6 feet apart, but police say the virus has impacted their enforcement of other offenses like domestic violence, fighting in a supermarket line, or in one case, a bank robber handing a note to a teller that said, "I have COVID." Still, the viral videos grab the most attention.
I'll be the first one to acknowledge that these encounters on video, they look bad. I don't like them.
Assistant Chief Jeffrey Madry is reminding officers in his command to remember the pandemic has put everyone under stress.
I think the community's hurting. They're frustrated. And, some people just don't know what to do and how to react to, when they're placed in certain situations. My job here is to make sure that my officers go out there and react and handle things in a delicate manner, be a resource to the community.
This week, the city announced a new plan to let communities police themselves.
More and more of the emphasis will be on a communicative, encouraging approach through these social distancing ambassadors. And with a team of 2,300, we'll be able to reach deeply into the city and make a very big impact.
Another warm weekend ahead will be a test for police and their new civilian partners. Aaron Katersky, ABC News, New York.
Man, what can you say? Okay, that scene with the police car going down the street saying, "Please keep 6 feet from each other. Do not touch the sidewalk." Man, is that something out of the damn Purge?
Or a book a guy wrote a long time ago, George Orwell. That's think about it, man. That's dystopian crap right there. That's crowd.
Yeah, and who's it going to hurt, right? It's going to hurt people who work for a living, really.
Yeah, all right. Look, I wanted to go back to something because I'm following along. 307 summons, 125 arrests. Look at the revenue right there, just revenue. And it was 90% Black people and Spanish people, man.
Yep.
And the commissioner, he looked kind of like, "Oh, I'm going to deflect this the best I can." Black commissioner, and trying to explain that. I don't know. He wasn't very.
He wasn't
very convincing. He wasn't very convincing.
No. I don't think so, man. And de Blasio's out, which is a good thing because he was a blockhead. You want to hear, those of you who haven't heard, go to Angry Prepper, search for de Blasio, and then listen to what he has to say, because he has absolutely no filter and all sorts of words for that guy.
Yes, sir.
Monique just commented, where was it? Let me get back up here.
I want to say hi to everybody, man. I see a lot of great people saying hello. Joe Morgan, my brother from another mother, Monique, all these people. Color Drop, Gene W is like mods for everybody.
Yeah, Gene is the queen bee of mods. But look at this, Monique. The new laws next week to Walmart, Costco, T-Rods.
Yeah.
Home Depot, anything that size will be taxed heavily for non-medication.
Jordy. Stewart. Okay.
Let's see who else. I was trying to click them and work the video at the same time, and I was missing people.
It's tough. I don't know if I could juggle that part up there. Doing it myself.
I actually, y'all can't see it, but I have multiple screens in front of me. I got like this mission control going here. And every now and then I get bug-eyed and I start like, I get stupid and I don't know what screen I'm looking at.
Man, I've got 3 in front of me now, just devices, one up that I'm using, one I'm watching chat in, trying to, but I really want to focus on the videos. And also it's on the TV, my 52-inch behind, everything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's scary though. You know all of you are having an amazing
No. Okay, there we go. I'm not saying echo. There we go. Sorry. I don't know what to say. In New York, this is happening in New York City. You tell me them 5 guys jumped on that girl for not social distancing?
So the girl in the first video, she was stopped for a Rona checkpoint, but she didn't have her license, so she didn't present her license.
The second clip.
Oh, the second clip in New York. According to the clip, it was a Rona violation of some type. I don't know if it was no mask or no pinch or what have you, but she had a Rona violation, and they started dragging that first person around the floor, and the other person came and said, "Stop doing that! You're abusing them." And you saw what happened to him. He got punched in the head, and the cops started dragging him around.
A Rona violation.
Some kind of Corona beer violation.
No, I mean think how crazy that sounds. That just
and that's why I say the American Gulag right now. I mean, we have people in the chat saying in North America, we're supposed to be the modern world. You cannot go to a grocery store. Mask or no mask.
Right.
There's something wrong when you tell people you can't get food.
Yeah. That's insanity. It's insanity. Look, Pete. I can't identify it in no kind of way. RP, I can't identify because I don't wear my mask. I go to the grocery store sometimes 6 times a month because I'll go for perishables and for preps. And I can't imagine if they told me to wear the mask tomorrow, I'd wear the mask. I'd put one on. And I deal with it. But I don't. And I live in a rural part of Tennessee where we don't do that. We don't do that.
And it's funny, in my part of Texas doesn't require it anymore. Like the first 6 months, nobody really knew what was happening. And then the governor said, this really isn't helping. I go to the store, half have masks, half don't. Like the old folks will have the N95, that little white mask.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you're older folks. I could see, you're worried about this illness. It hits the elderly really hard. So, nobody cares. Nobody cares.
I'm not mad at them. Here it's like 2 and 10 got mask on, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. So no one asks questions. Yeah. And you know what? Nobody, Joe, to that point, nobody, if they wear it, it's fine. If they don't, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm not mad at you. And if the store said, hey, you have to put this mask on to get in here, I'm going to be like, all right. I might look for somewhere else to shop next time.
Right. But it is a private store, so that's their right.
That's their right. But for now.
But
just like 6 months we did it. Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
We're just like y'all. Tennessee and Texas do things a lot alike. First 6 months, people were really paranoid. Even me, I was like, hey, I'm going to put a couple masks in the car. And, I'm going to wash my hands, 18 times more. But then it went away. And the stuff I see, these 2 clips we've already seen, it's insanity to me. I live in rural Tennessee. We just don't do that here. I can't identify.
And then It was something that there's a conversation about farts going on.
I'm so glad.
But
I'm so glad. I mean, they're having fun.
Oh yeah, the only time we're right. And I could see certain work sites. You're really close. You're trying to cut down particles. Okay, fair enough.
Stuart,
Honestly,
what's up?
I go to the stores. Nobody's near me half the time anyway. Everyone's doing their own thing. It's not like we're all up like a bar where you're all up in each other's faces.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen it be aggressive at the stores. Like on a couple of times I've went, and I've told other people this. There's a really aggressive kind of attitude going on. It was aggressive, and there's no water at that time I go. And I did see shortages today. I looked at 2 different places and I saw gaps. I'm sorry, but I did see gaps today.
So it's funny. I went to, was it Walmart? I had to get something from, I think it was Walmart. And they had a whole section. You know those stupid plastic desks you put in your bed, like it's your bed desk? It's like that little tray. So you can sit there and you put it on your lap and you can work on your laptop in bed. They had a whole rack, like literally the whole aisle, a whole section full of those stupid blue and purple things. And I'm sitting there going, why in God's name do you have this many of these stupid things? And then it occurred to me, they don't have any other product.
Exactly. They're facing and stacking.
Oh, go ahead.
Indiana Prepper 2, he showed a video where he went down 4 or 5 aisles, and it was tubs, which Walmart has a couple of aisles of tubs. This was a tub with a top and then a tub and a tub to take up to make it look full. They don't want that to look gappy. Well, I worked in grocery stores as a kid before college, and we faced the material to make it look better. They're doing a lot of facing, and they're also spreading things out. Who wants those discs? You only need one more section. Why are you putting them in 2 or 3 aisles to cover a gap, right?
Right. Or 5-gallon buckets. And you're
yes.
Like,
each, not stacked together in a stack. Individual buckets with nothing in them. Yeah.
It's and Caribbean House has a good point. New York City is a different world. It
is a different world for sure. I've never even been there. I've been as close as Chicago, and I'm gonna tell you, it was an aggressive situation. I went in the late '90s doing fiber optic work. Yeah, and it was bad. Chicago, it was bad.
Chicago's bad now. I grew up in New York, and I didn't like Chicago then. I wouldn't go back now. I have no. It's been decades since I lived.
It's a rough part of Chicago. It's called Chicago. Yeah. Basically.
And Heroic's on the East Coast. He has to. Yeah, he works in New York, and I'm sure he has some story.
Yeah, man, that would be a good. We should get a panel of people some night from all different parts of America and kind of compare notes.
That would be very cool. And actually, it's funny you mentioned that, because what they're doing, right? They're just beating people up for these mandates. But then you have other states like yours and mine where generally it's kind of self-guided. It's like, you want the shot, it's free. You don't want the shot, that's fine. If you get sick, you get sick, sucks to suck. You can wear a mask, don't wear a mask. Don't lick people, don't be a jerk, and nobody cares. And society is moving on.
We have, for us, Tennessee hasn't been a problem now. I don't know. Comparing hospital rates all over, we could do that too. That's a whole nother show, is looking at everybody's individual hospital rates at the moment. But like you said, we kind of are self-guiding. Texas, Tennessee, Louisiana, Arkansas, Alabama, they're kind of self-guiding. Florida's one of our key self-guiding states, hasn't it been? It's been a poster child. Florida has for, let's conduct ourselves that way and move on with business, right?
Yeah. And and good night, Jennifer. Thanks for stopping in.
Good night, Jennifer.
Y'all check out Jennifer's channel. She's got a great channel, and sadly my schedule is such that I wind up catching a lot of replays because I miss it when she's live.
Me too. Even you, I catch a lot of your replays. I hit you. I see you a lot on Instagram. Me and you, we're connected on Instagram too.
Yeah.
So,
and that one, I got to tell you, I'm on different platforms, and it's funny the different the different demographics I get. So I have a lot of followers from Argentina, Bolivia, and Peru on Instagram. But I have a lot of Gen Z on TikTok, and I have Gen X on YouTube.
I'm Gen X and Gen Z probably on TikTok. Now that's a whole nother thing. I'm not Tennessee Tactical. I don't do that on TikTok. I ought to do a Tennessee Tactical TikTok. I might do that.
And but man, the first time I tried to do Twitter, and Twitter's a hateful place. It's just
that is a cesspool of
I removed myself. I was like, no.
Good for you.
I'll go and read every now and then. I think I've logged in once a week. Just to see if there's any good news. But Red October is absolutely right. Canada healthcare, are people getting denied? That I don't know, Gene. That's a good question. Sorry, folks, the comments went by faster than I could click them. Guys, I'm going to play this one. Let me know if you have audio, because all that Tennessee, all that beating down on the people has a backlash. And Toronto is an example. And this happened in New York, too.
Protests outside hospitals erupted across the country Wednesday over COVID-19 public health orders, disrupting medical staff, trying to provide care to patients, and in some cases, causing people to miss their appointments.
I understand that some individuals had to cancel appointments because they were afraid.
Audrey Gordon, Minister of Mental Health, Wellness and Recovery, says she was deeply disappointed people chose to rally in front of hospitals during a pandemic. One Winnipeg woman caught in the protest wrote on Twitter, "It was scary. We got stuck in traffic dropping off my dad for an appointment, and he just made it in time after jumping out of the car and running through traffic." He is 81. A Toronto emergency room doctor posted this video of a protest outside his hospital, writing, "In case a global pandemic, demoralizing fourth wave, critical nursing shortage, and record burnout levels amongst healthcare workers wasn't enough."
I'm always concerned about the mental health of all Manitobans, but in particular our healthcare workers and our frontline service providers.
Gordon says she doesn't have an issue with protests. However, doing so outside a hospital, interfering with hospital staff, and impacting the mental health and well-being of those providing patient care or those trying to receive it isn't okay. Gordon knows firsthand how intimidating COVID-19 protesters can be. She herself has been followed from work to her car by people frustrated over COVID-19 guidelines.
And I did feel that my personal space was being encroached on, and concerned for my own safety. So I can imagine how the individuals at the Health Sciences Center yesterday must have felt.
A group called Canadian Frontline Nurses in part coordinated the protests in Manitoba, BC, and Ontario. This video shows a fourth protest taking place on Wednesday, posted to the group's Facebook page. Darlene Jackson, president of the Manitoba Nurses Union, wrote to City News in a response. A statement reads, "This event is absolutely not supported, sanctioned, or involves the Manitoba Nurses Union. In fact, MNU is not in any way affiliated with the individuals calling themselves Canadian Frontline Nurses." While it is unfortunate that this group is taking attention away from the important vaccination efforts happening across Canada, the vast majority of nurses in this country have seen firsthand the devastating effects of COVID-19 and understand that the only way out of this pandemic is through social distancing, masking, and vaccination. As for Gordon, she says protesters have rights, but so do all Manitobans and healthcare workers.
They have a right to be angry. They have a right to speak out, but they don't have a right to block an individual from accessing care at a hospital facility.
In Winnipeg, Mark Neufeld, City News.
So there's a shortage of nurses, but they fired all the ones who got the Rona and then didn't see a need to get a pinch. But they're making the ones with the pinch who are sick go to work with the patients who will get the Rona.
You know, not really to shift gears, but shouldn't these people that were fired or let go have some kind of legal right to something now, to be able to do something? Like, they fired doctors and nurses, walked them out of the job.
Well, what they had done was, on one person put it, where was it on? I don't know if it was YouTube or TikTok. It was one of the media platforms. She went to work. They wouldn't let her in work. Her card was disabled, but they wouldn't tell her she was fired. So she said, well, what's my status? They said, well, you can't work. So she said, so I'm going to sit here. So she sat there the whole freaking day. Then security came and she said, am I no longer an employee? No, but you have to go home. Well, I'm not sick. And so she pressed it. And finally they told her, you're released from work. And she had it on video. So she made an unemployment claim that she got terminated. And she was able to take that into the system. But a lot of people, they just give us your card. You don't work here anymore. And there's no evidence. They don't give you a letter or RIF or anything.
Right. She was smart about it. I saw him escort one of the, she was the like head charge nurse. They escorted her out because she wouldn't, do what they were asking her to do. And she went to report for duty and they escorted her off the job.
Yeah.
And Supreme Court has said differently, and Potato said, don't listen to the Supreme Court, make your people, you remember that? I mean, this has all happened since I talked to you last. I mean, it's idiocracy, man.
Yeah, it is. And it seems contradictory. And then, like you were just talking, so you got store shelves are empty. And we've got, all this nonsense distracting us. And I don't know, have you seen the news, like Off the Wall? I put something, I think you even mentioned something. What the hell's going on in Ukraine right now? Because all of a sudden it starts showing up on a lot of the mainstream media. And
this is the cycle that Ukraine's always part of that cycle, right? I mean, looks like Putin's ready to make a little move there. I don't know. It's been feeling that way for the last year, though, hasn't it?
Yeah. Well, and he does this, right? He'll jump out. He'll build up on the border. He'll puff up, and then he gets a concession. But he rarely gives anything back.
Right.
And it's like, why are we? So right now, I don't know. It was in the news. Canadians have special forces in the Ukraine. So does someone else in NATO. I don't know. Spain just sent 2 ships, minesweepers, into the Black Sea, and the French are in Lithuania, in the Balkans, and those are NATO members. Estonia, Lithuania, Latvia. All of a sudden, we have all these assets there.
So you're telling me you just named off three assets that are already poised in the area. Oh man! Listen, we're being fed crap and left in the dark like mushrooms. We're employees. Me and you, we're regular employees of this country. We're just peons. They don't tell us nothing, so we wouldn't know. And if we started tonight, we wouldn't know till tomorrow. If we were lucky.
Yeah, that's the truth.
This administration sure looks weak to everyone else, and including me as an American. This administration is weak. Let's say it politely.
And I'll be honest, regardless of one's political view, it's the leaders of the country. You want them to do well because it involves all of us. Yeah. It's really bad, man. Like, I wake up every morning wondering, is the president going to be okay? What's going on with him? I mean, potatoes are very good, a good way to put it.
Yeah, potato is good.
And it's not like,
wrong, y'all. I feel bad for the guy some days.
I do. But you look at like Bush, Bush Jr. or even Obama, right? Mm-hmm. If something had happened to one of them, right? Bush had Cheney. Then behind Cheney, you had what? You had on the Newt Gingrich in the House, who's a Republican, and they had that Democratic senator, I forgot his name, and he was an ex-Navy guy. Like, you had solid leaders, so the chain of command, God forbid something happened,
Right.
It was solid. Even Obama, you know, he had Biden, who was younger at the time, but Susan Rice, and then he had McConnell on the other side. So it's kind of split. And you're like, okay,
Right.
they have some people who, if they become leaders, I'm not freaked out. Have you seen the progression right now? If something were to happen, what are our
Man,
choices?
I worry about him making this term. You know, I hope that, you know, I don't wish nothing bad on the old dude, but I worry about him making this term.
Yeah.
We're a quarter of the way into this term. I don't see him. You know, have we seen a real State of the Union yet? No, the dude can't speak for over 20 minutes. We're not going to see that. We're not going to see him, you know, address the nation.
And I fear, and I guess Blinken's not doing a bad job, and I'm not a fan of his, but I think he's doing the best he can. But still, I mean, we've got stuff going on overseas, and that was funny. Hold on, I missed something there.
I wish I could keep up with the chat too. I'm watching it, but I want to focus. I didn't know how many videos we were going to watch.
Yeah, and that's fair, Joe. Not everyone was a fan of Bush, but I was saying by way of example, he was surrounded by other people, you know, even Powell and Schwarzkopf. He had some competent people around him who could have navigated geopolitics.
Stormy Norman, I remember him.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was solid leadership as you went down the chain. If you look at who's second right now, yeah, we're in bad shape. But I'm saying the world.
Oh, go ahead.
Where our leadership, this administration projects badly to the world, like Putin and Xi Jinping. That doesn't look good. He looks weak to them.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
yeah, it is. Bug Out Adventures, actually, Cheney shot his buddy with
hunting
because they weren't paying attention.
Right. You were saying Cheney wasn't a bad guy, and I was about to say, just don't go with him.
I'm not saying he wasn't an awesome guy. He had his shady. What I'm saying is he was competent. I guess I should separate that. Being a good guy or being good at a job, two different things. You know what I mean? I'm Cheney, but he at least understood how politics worked in the global sense. So he could have done things in the absence of the other guy. But I don't know. I'm not sure what to make of this Ukraine situation, and that's going to screw up supply chain here too.
And everywhere else too. There's a lot of resources come out of there, and that's why we're even talking about Ukraine, is because of its resources. Russia knows, everybody knows. There's, you know, the supply chain can't get any worse. Now, listen, knock on wood, y'all, because it can, and it is. My latest video shows people stealing from a train while it's moving slowly. If you look really close, the supply chain's in bad shape right now, Pete. I'm
going to see if I can find your video. If I can, I got
ridiculously short.
Oh no, I want to see that. I'll share it with everybody here.
It's called the Wild West.
Oh, you just put it on there. Okay, hold on. Let me get it on the other screen. Oh shit.
Oh, this is great.
Not what I was supposed to do. Hang on. Let me move this. I got too many screens here, y'all.
Joe said it. They need a new sheriff in town. LA, they need help over there.
Oh, that's the truth. Well,
they need help.
Is this being driven by gangs, drugs, or is this desperation as a result of everything else?
It looks like normal Joes, like ladies, guys, you know, robbing, and they pulling up with cars. It's 18 seconds, but
y'all. All right, this is on Tennessee's channel. I don't know if you can hear it. It's just a bunch of gibberish in the background.
This is somebody filming them.
Wait, is that in the building pack factor? Is that
look? It's moving. If you look at the train is moving. They're just snatching TVs and everything else.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's going on in Los Angeles.
And
insane.
Yeah, and what scares me is you've got desperation. You've got people who, hey, ghetto, what's going on? And Northern Girl, hello. I'm sorry, I'm just getting a few people here.
I didn't know we.
There she is. Thank you for putting Tennessee out there. I appreciate that.
The Gene W is like one of those killer mods. She mods for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gene. She's I see her everywhere.
Mm-hmm. And Bug Out. I'm betting they're going to split Ukraine because the western half of the country doesn't like Russia, but the eastern half does. I'd prefer they figure that out diplomatically, but.
Small arms fire for the last 2 or 3 years on the border. Anyway, there's footage of that.
Oh yeah, it's scary. Well, so the question, I mean, you got to think. So, like we started, you have this very authoritarian behavior here in the nation, and at the same time, we're getting entangled in stuff overseas. And it's like, so if something does pop off, I'm afraid that's going to come home. And if it comes home, are they going to start doing the curfews? Like, remember World War II, right? They were afraid the Nazis would bomb us or something, and there were curfews and lights out, and you needed papers to go around.
I can't believe we're talking about this stuff. It's insanity to me to think we're talking about this stuff. But yeah, I see it just like you do. I see it.
And I guess
mode.
Yeah, and that's what scares me is so oh man, this is a long video. It was a good one, but I think that we'd all fall asleep because it's a little too long. Let me see if I can find
robbing trains since I was a little kid. We've been hit with a rock salt and see Ghetto, he was there as a kid saying that they used to do this stuff. But look, I'd like to ask him, is this worse than what it used to be? Like, I could see hanging with Ghetto and me and him as kids going and doing robbing trains and cutting, using bolt cutters. I've done some criminal stuff, but as a kid, but this is organized.
But those are all adults. I mean, there are people in our age groups out there with vehicles in broad daylight.
They're not jacking. It's not like they're jacking. They're just jacking because it's that easy. This is a free for all out there in the train yards. Here in a train yard, you can get caught and do federal time if you're caught messing around, even hoboing around a train. You can't even be near the yards. I mean, you can catch a charge.
Yeah. I mean, if we went on the campuses in the colleges in New York growing up, and first of all, they tackle you because it's a big security dude, but they would rock salt the kids with it wasn't really a shotgun and it wasn't a paint gun. They really didn't have good paint guns back then. It was just like this little pew. I don't know what it was. It was like this weird pew, and they bopped the kids, and they come in, their jeans were all tore up. And they're bleeding. They're like, because they had rock salt in their leg.
Low powered shotgun loads. Well, Ghetto said he took some. Like he took some pieces of rock salt from doing this crazy. Saying hi to everybody, Loretta and everybody.
Yeah,
Joe Morgan. It's a mess. You were saying, what if this comes home? I mean, I think it has come home. Just not in Tennessee and Texas. I'm telling you, I don't know. I wouldn't want to try none of that mess around where I live. This is small where I live.
Right.
It's a small rural town, and they don't play no jacking trains around here. Just
no. And what I'm worried about, if something pops off overseas, it may be used as an excuse to lock people down harder.
I see.
Domestically. I see. And I don't know, maybe I'm off base. You think I'm that's way out there? I'm thinking like habeas corpus suspension, stuff like that.
No, they could literally, try to do some kind of curfew type stuff. They were heading that way. When we began this journey of this Kung flu, when all this stuff went, it started to look that way. And then some of the states just kind of stood up to the administration like mine and yours and said, no, man, you can kiss our behinds, bro. We're not doing it. We're not talking about guns. We're not talking about mandates. We're not talking about none of that. My governor kind of said that. Well, how many went constitutional after Biden or Potato was elected? Think of all the states that have now become constitutional carry.
Yeah.
It's not, not to get off course there, but I mean, if you look, some of the regional governors are standing back saying, no, Mr. President, no, we're not doing that. I'm sorry. Florida, Texas, Alabama, Arkansas, I can go on. Mississippi, there's a lot of, looks like the South is kind of the freest place to be to some extent, if you look at it, from Texas all the way over to the Carolinas.
I actually am seeing, other than Cali, like the West Coast,
right. Oh yeah,
and like New York City, in that little tri-state area, the rest of the country really doesn't like that nonsense. And
you're exactly right. LA to New York. You're right. It's those far west and far east places that are the only place these nonsense rules are being enforced. And outside the continental United States, like Austria, Australia, New Zealand, they're cracking down on people, man, for the same stuff we started this stream about.
And actually, I just saw it. Hold on. This is what happens. This was a month ago, so this is not that old. It has a commercial, of course. Okay. But this is people. We did it as a neighborhood collective. Right, but what I think, I agree with you, Ghetto. What you saw in that video from Tennessee, that was more than just a bunch of folks in the neighborhood saying, okay, let's hit this area.
It was a mob. It was like a block party. Let's do a train robbery. Joe's right about Idaho. Idaho is called the Prepper's Paradise, actually.
I believe it.
Properties. Yeah. That's a good state too. He's right. No disrespect to some of you guys out west that are free. But the coast, the far coast, like he said, New York, and LA County and those kind of places, it's tyrannical.
Oh yeah. And again, I just think as we keep, it's almost like a bad cycle, right? You get pushed down on the people, they get pissed off, then they protest and riot. So in response to the protest and riot, you lock them down harder, which pisses them off more, which encourages a harder hand. And then at some point you get what we had at Kazakhstan. And for the record, that was an insurrection. That was what trying to overthrow a government really looks like. And that was ugly. But look at this here. This is a month ago. This is actually in Europe, bro.
All right.
Let's
good to see all of y'all.
Yeah, I'm really excited. All y'all are here. Let's see. Let me know if you can hear this audio while
Another Dutch city rocked by discontent.
Can you hear it?
Good.
The Hague rioters burned bicycles and pelted police with stones and fireworks. Officers used horses, dogs, batons, and bikes to chase them away.
Looks like Mardi Gras
Earlier,
protests.
anti-vax demonstrators brought music to the southern city of Breda. While most Dutch people accept the need for tougher rules, the distrust is spreading.
My opinion about the corona rules is that it's not acceptable anymore. We have to live with corona, so please invest in the healthcare in Holland so we can handle all the corona infection in the hospitals.
The night before, there were rampages in Rotterdam. Riot police fired live rounds. A number of demonstrators were hit and hospitalized. An investigation's underway to find out if their injuries were caused by police gunfire.
The Netherlands is among several European countries battling record infection rates, and many governments are considering or implementing tougher measures targeting the unvaccinated.
In Austria, supporters of the country's far-right Freedom Party marched against mandatory coronavirus vaccinations. A 20-day lockdown will start next week.
Holy cow.
Denmark's capital, Copenhagen, witnessed discord too. The UK isn't yet seeing such a rapid increase in infections, and these are some of the reasons why.
Many countries in Europe were faced with Delta a little bit later, so they're dealing with it now. And some of them opened up slightly later than we did, so that's a factor. The second point is there's differences in vaccines. You've got high levels of non-vaccine uptake in some populations in some European countries.
In the UK, high infection rates also help to build up immunity. Now the push to get booster jabs in continues. As a fourth wave crashes across the continent, countries are struggling to ease pressure on the health services and the streets. Anna Holligan, BBC News.
So interesting, man. You hear what that young guy said at the beginning, where it's like, we're not going to get rid of it, so let's invest in the healthcare and let's just try to live with it.
Yes, you smart young cat. That was a nice statement. I was like, yeah. He's like, because this is the norm. I was kind of like that. I was like, yeah, kid, you're right, kid. This is the new norm. So let's just move on with it.
But you see how quickly that went sideways when they declared that 20-day lockdown.
Yeah. Europeans are fighting back, RP. If you see, there's a lot of video on Europeans, the Canadians, all the way to Europe. People are fighting back. They're mad. Australians are mad.
And what happened to that young lady at the beginning and the folks that we showed in Canada, that's really what's starting to kick it off. It's, good Lord, you're dragging people out of their car. Give them a ticket and tell them go to the judge, and you get your summons over there.
Yeah.
Don't drag a gal who's on her way home to see her kid out of her car because she didn't have her papers.
And got her for 3 charges, basically. She's facing 3 charges. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's another thing, Bug Out. I will not be locked down. No, and that's fair. And again, going to
go ahead, RP. I was wanting to say
there's
a lot
of reading
chat going on. Yeah, it's a lot of good chat. Northern Girl Hobbies, what is up? Another super mod right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, by the way, folks, Northern Girl, I don't know if she started yet. She's joining the truckers on this convoy across Canada, basically to protest government stupidity. I can't even. It's more than just Rona. It's just the incompetence in the capital. Yeah. And so go check out her channel, and I think she has a link in there if you want to support the drivers too. But yeah, it's crazy, man, and that's what concerns me is if something pops off overseas, are we going to have the wartime curfews here, and is that going to be yet another layer of control on people going to the grocery store?
You know what? That's Hollywood script written right there. I don't know. As crazy as I've been thinking, and believe me, I have been sitting back as just not a creator, but as a human being, an American, and seeing all this stuff. And I am shocked every day at what I'm seeing. It's like damage report. I wake up to a daily damage report. As soon as I get out of bed, I'm like, did anything happen through the night that's going to change, our lives? I mean, I'm waiting on some little, what do they call it, the Black Swan event, whatever, some little thing to set it off. Yeah. And you're right. It could be, they what did so mandates. I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna, I don't know what they can. I'm retired, so I don't know what they're gonna ever put at me. House is paid for or whatever. I'm not gonna take it. I spoke to my doctor, and I had more questions when I left his office. And this is my family doctor who I love. I go see him 4 times a year and get checkups, blood work, all that kind of stuff. But I asked him about it, and with our conversation about the that was it left me with more questions as I left. I left with more questions than he gave me answers for. That's sad.
Yeah, and I think it's a double-edged sword, because on the one hand they're saying get medication, and whatever the science says, that's fine. But then on the other hand, they're suspending a lot of patient rights. And that concerns me, whether you choose to get meds or not, that's a personal choice. If your kid's asthmatic, you don't want to bring that home. Okay, you get the shot. Hey, I'm not going to judge. But when people take it, but they have no recourse if it makes them sick. And somebody said, well, you take flu shots, you get tetanus shots if you work in certain locations. Yeah, flu shot has been around for 3 generations.
Yeah, I don't take that either, and I haven't had flu since, I don't know, maybe when I was in college, in my 19, I think it was 19 or 20. My daughter was a year old, so yeah, that's how long it's.
But it's not apples to apples, is what I'm saying. Like they say, oh, well, you get measles shots when you're kids. Yeah, the German measles does not mutate. It mutates every 50 years. The flu is on a 10-month mutation. A coronavirus, the cold, strep, all these variations, it's like a 1 month, 2 month cycle. So we're going to get a new one every 8 to 12 weeks. That's insane.
That seems like the timetable. That
Is
seems like
right?
Yeah, no, you hit it exactly. I was like, wow, I never heard it quite put as 8 weeks, but yeah, new variant.
Because that's why when you ever have the kids come home with a cold, and then the whole house gets sick, and then a week later a kid comes home with a month later they come home with a different cold. You're like, we just had a cold. It's because they mutate. It's a quick mutating virus. But yeah, I mean, this isn't the flu. It's not an apples to apples comparison. But you can't shut people out of grocery stores for this.
Yeah, that's inhumane. The stuff we're seeing it's borderline like the first girl, that was inhumane the way they treated her. And in the second clip, they literally tackled somebody that said social distancing was the issue.
Right. And then the other guy who said, what are you doing? Leave the girl alone. They punched him and he went down.
Yeah. I mean, brutality over these silly, man.
Yeah. And I get it. If the guy had mugged someone, if there was a rape, all right, start kicking some ass. Hey.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't wear a thing on your face? No.
Yeah.
Give him a ticket and let the pendejo go to the court and pay $100. I mean, let's move on from that. That's crazy. Oh, we missed something here, buddy. Hold on.
Let me look at the chat here. Yardbird, what's up? Drop. Gene W. Joe.
300 megatons time 3. I missed a nuke conversation in here.
Yeah, let's roll that back.
Oops, sorry, I missed that one. Little Boots.
Normalization, which always ends in either civil war, revolution, or slavery. Yardbirds. That's interesting.
I agree, a color drop. And I don't object to a company making money because, that's how a lot of our sciences develop. But when there's no control, when there's no accountability, and pharmas are dictating to the people who are supposed to be protecting us, the CDC and all that. But it seems like pharma's deciding what's happening, and these guys are going, okay, it's a rubber stamp. There's something wrong. There's no accountability.
Man, those guys have been a monster for as long as I've been alive. Big Pharma has. That's a monster. It's like OPEC or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like that's a monster. Pharma's a monster, and it's not just one company; it's a conglomerate of companies. Just like in big oil, it's a monster.
That's why they don't like the American oil and gas companies, because you have some big ones, but there's hundreds of little ones that compete with the big guys.
Yeah.
But overseas, like Venezuela, it's one company, and the president owns it. He controls that. Russia, it's 2 companies, and guess who controls that? Or the guy we were talking about earlier.
Goes right back to the Kremlin if it's in Russia. They're Putin's pulling all the strings there. Unlike our potato head we have that's baking in the oven. Serious, man. Ugh.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, it'd be different if we had good leadership. I'm sorry. Can I say that? We have terrible leadership. And that amplifies everything times 4. of what we're talking about tonight. I mean,
Oh,
look
that's
at
an
the
interesting.
news, man.
This is an
Like,
interesting fact. I'm assuming you're referring, Ghetto, to the company that starts with a P that's really leading the charge. Because there are multiple shots, but there's one that's really out there.
yes, that's who he's talking about, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
No, honestly, I'm glad he brought that up because some of us saw that and
That's what I thought.
weren't distracted.
Yeah. And you notice they push the new med, not the old style med. Like there's some out there that are based on like the flu, right? They
Right.
took a virus, they made it, they radiated it so it's kind of incapable of breeding. And then they give it to your body says, okay, that's the enemy, it kills it, and off you go. No, they're pushing the new science, which has been out 8 months, a year at this point.
Yeah, I'd rather do something trusted, like
Yeah.
Tylenol. I grew up with Tylenol. I know what that is. You know what I mean? If Tylenol made something for it, I might trust it.
Last time I got sick, God, it was basically Advil and bourbon. I completely John Wicked it with some NyQuil in the evenings to knock me out.
Hydrate yourself. Hydration, and I think that's the way we do it. I think during this thing, since whenever the Chihuahua Kung Flu came out, I think I've been sick 3 or 4 times and I've never been checked. I have not been tested. None of that. So I think I've had it. My daughter was down 5 days and I had to take care of her. She's 30, okay, but she was still sick and had to come stay with me.
Yeah.
And she couldn't taste, couldn't smell for about 5 days, miserable sick. She gets better, goes back to work, and then I end up sick for about 3 days. So I'm pretty sure that I've been passing this thing around my family.
Now, naturally speaking, as these things evolve, because the virus wants to procreate, it can't procreate if it kills all the hosts. So as it evolves, it becomes weaker but more contagious, which is what we're seeing with this newest one.
Right.
Unless you're at risk, you're asthmatic, you're high blood pressure, diabetic, then it could stress your body to where you start having issues. But
conditions that you already had, like COPD or asthma, could affect people.
Actually,
Like
Yardbirds,
emphysema,
to your point, Yardbirds, I spoke to an oncologist I know, and you're right. You're absolutely correct. That that newer science, so to say, has been used in cancer treatments, but it's very targeted. Like they target a very specific type of cell to get rid of the cancer. What they're trying to do is target a very specific part of the cootie to remove the cootie. But like I said, the cootie is evolving every 8 to 12 weeks. So every 8 to 12 weeks, the shot from 6 months ago is kind of like, it kind of works, but not really. Because the cootie is changing faster than the med is. So
you're better off being pure blood, in my opinion. Like, because I think my son had the D variant of this, and he was sick. But he didn't. He's unjabbed too, and lives with his mom. But he didn't feel very good, but he got up from it. And like you say, the evolution is where we are now with the O. It's a weaker version, but more spreadable, right? It's kind of spreads around a little differently,
But what scares me, and finally England, I don't know if you heard, England finally lifted the restrictions, with the exception, like if you're in close quarters, you have to wear a mask, like certain office environments. But in the street, no more curfews. They finally said, what are we doing? We've ruined small businesses. We're destroying people's lives. It makes no sense. It's
good for them.
Yeah, but also the people were burning shit down. That's it.
I don't see them locking. I don't see them locking this country down and it going off very well for anybody. It'll be a mess.
Well, from the start, half the sheriffs in the country, or half the states will say no.
Right.
Then half the sheriffs in the states that said yes, they're going to say no, because everything basically, like even California, north of LA from Bakersfield North, that's cowboy country.
Right.
They're going to
You're
be
right.
like, whatever, we're not going to obey you. You suck.
Friends that live in the valley, and it's different in the valley than it is like in the cities.
Mhm.
California ought to be 3 states. From a friend of mine, Danny Hernandez, he was raised there. He says it really ought to be 3 states the way it's set up. It could be 3 states actually, if you were to split it the right way. Yeah.
And you know what's funny is that used to be like Texas. Cali used to be like Tennessee and Texas, and it changed. And I heard one poli-sci type guy, political science dude I follow, who said he thinks the People's Republic has been investing quietly, knowing our electoral system, investing quietly to screw up a couple of states on the West Coast, knowing it would affect the whole country later. And they started doing that back in the 70s.
Yeah. Yeah,
Makes
man.
you
With
wonder.
water, there was a lot of stuff about water back in the days too, man. And there's still the water wars.
Mhm.
I mean,
So,
it's that's. I hate that they set precedents. Like people say, don't California my Tennessee. That's what I would say. I don't want that stuff here. We don't want that. You live in the free state of Texas, man.
well,
You know?
what's funny, Elon moved the plant to Austin, which is kind of the blueberry in the middle of Texas, right?
Right.
And because they're losing the border counties, which were high Hispanic, always, traditionally blue collar Democrat, and about 5 or 6 Hispanic Republicans and moderate Democrats have kicked out all the socialists in 4 or 5 counties. And basically, the Latino community is generally a Christian community, and they're like, yeah, we're not about this socialism. No, that's not. We don't like that. And they're kicking them out.
I am look. I think the awakening of the Latino people has been going on for a long time. They oh man, they know.
Well, it's not a big block. Everyone used to say, oh, they're Hispanic. It's like this big square. It's not. It's super diverse, and
It is
it's
super diverse. And there's more conservative Latinos than you would ever believe. And that's been going on for a while.
Oh, that's interesting. Meta. I'm assuming you mean Facebook's Meta. We'll have headquarters in
And
Austin.
all properties of Facebook Meta.
So when Elon moved the plant, somebody said, well, you're moving to a state that has a freer culture, which you endorse, Mr. Musk, but a lot of your employees from California will follow you. What do you have to say to them? And he has no filter, right? So he goes, yeah, don't vote for the stupid crap that we left in California. He just said it deadpan. Like he didn't miss it.
If you move from a blue place for that reason, don't bring the blue ideas with you, please, people.
Hey, Pilgrim.
Please.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Stuart. I want to say hi to Stuart and Pilgrim. There's Pilgrim Radio.
Yeah, Pilgrim's there.
Good people in the chat, man. What's up to all of y'all?
Yeah, I'm at Little Boots. That's big business. So Little Boots, I actually I had a planned trip to Vegas earlier in the year, and I wound up getting to go to the Hoover Dam. They weren't having tours, but you could walk on the dam and like kind of walk around in the open. They wouldn't let you in an enclosed space. Dude, the water was low, Tennessee. It was low, like hundreds of feet low. I'm going to see if I have a photo of that because it blew my mind.
Like lower than you've ever seen it before, or like?
I actually caught one of the people who work there, and I asked him. I said, "Man, is this where's the water?" And he said they've modified the turbines in the Hoover Dam to function at a higher efficiency with less water because the water was so low. Let me see if I have a picture because I don't think my description will do anyone justice. And I found the picture of my corgi passed out on the floor. Yeah, the potato will fall asleep in a heartbeat. Hold on, let me see if
corgis are awesome, dude. You got a pair of corgis, huh? They're awesome dogs.
I got 2 of them and a Papillon who he thinks he's big, but then he runs his mouth and the corgis kick his ass.
Right.
And because they're way stronger than he is. I'm trying to find. Here it is. Let me see. And so yeah, the water. Oh, okay. Here's a good pic. Let me see if I can move that over. Oh, that didn't work. Hold on a second here.
Without saying less than 30% water at the dam.
It was scary. It was down. He said it was down hundreds of feet. Let me see. Let me expand that, and I will share it with y'all. So this will do. I don't think this photo does y'all any justice, but look at that. So the dark line where the dark and white meet is where the water normally resides. By my estimate, that was 300 to 200 feet of elevation between the water level and what was here.
Right. Yeah, you can tell where it's bleached. You can tell.
Oh yeah. Oh, here's another one. So here's the actual dam, and I actually took this photo. So this is where the water level should be, right around. You see the turbine house is like right here. This is where it is. That is an SUV. That is an Escalade by comparison, right here.
Dang.
Okay, and another, like, you see this tower, you see the little door, that's a 7-foot door.
Okay.
And look at the height of the water missing.
So we're talking 500 feet, maybe more there.
It was in terms of hundreds of feet. The lake was that low in the 70s, but there's a lot more water demand. Yeah.
Well, if that's an SUV up there, yeah. Okay, I would say a couple of hundred, 200 to 300 feet. I'm looking at it on my big screen.
Yeah, that's a massive drop.
Sure is.
The guy even told us, he said this road here you see in the background normally would be partly covered, like they cut it out of the rock.
Yeah.
So when the water was low, they could drive down here and like do some work in the corner. But the water level normally would be like right up here.
Right.
And it's hundreds of feet down. It's just absolutely crazy, man. So yeah, Cali, the north or the southwest and the west coast, they're having some water issues. Hold on. The only way Texas will split is if we wall off Austin.
Maybe we need to start a wall at Texas right there, at least, and 2 walls. Put up a couple of them. I don't know.
Ghetto, that one was taken in June. It hasn't gotten much better that I know of. But
So
yeah,
he's talking about. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oregon did that in the late 80s. The water situation, how they share it around out there too.
Right. Well, Vegas is huge, right? Vegas is way bigger than it was 50 years ago.
Right.
But then you look at all the other cities, and it's feeding water into the other areas. So, but again, there's resource constraints, food constraints, personnel constraints. You're not seeing the food. It's scary though. Why try and lock people down? There's enough on the populace. It just blows my mind.
Yeah, and I wonder where we're heading. Like, everybody has, projection of dates and stuff. I really wonder where we're going. Like, look at what we're talking about tonight. Let's rehash this in 6 weeks or 6 months and imagine what could. I don't know. It's not hopeful. It doesn't look hopeful. The war on the horizon. I mean, WW3, let's fear porn for a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, I'll need to check that, Ghetto. Last I looked was in August, September, so I haven't looked at it, to be honest. I haven't looked at it in a few months, so I'll go double back and check, because I did hear they got a lot of snow, so that's going to affect the water level.
It's not a drought problem. Is what we're getting at? Because I was like,
I don't know. Let's see, Hoover Dam today. See if I can find that.
Yardbirds was talking about the spillways in the 2000s.
Yeah, it only gives data for July 2021. So Yeah, I don't have any newer data. I'll look into it, Ghetto, though. That's wait, Joe just had a question here. Hold on. Go ahead.
Oh, Idaho's hooking everybody up out there, aren't they?
Sounds like it.
Yeah, it's what it sounds like.
Well, Joe, I think if you just get rid of like Seattle and Portland, the rest of the state seems to be okay. I'm just saying, you know. See, and it's funny because New Orleans is a really like liberal, happy place. Nobody's like that. They're all drunk and stoned anyway. They don't care. They're like, woo, running around with beads. So.
That place.
But, so what do you think, man, to kind of wrap up the topic, man? Do you think they're going to lay off and say, hey, this isn't effective? You know, clamping down on the people, let's be more realistic. Do you think it's going to head that way?
If you listen to the backpedaling of this administration, yeah, I think I was looking at some poll before I came on with you. There were like so many % of Democrats would want actual fines to be in place and imprisonment for people, like some kind of Gallup poll, which is usually one of the more accurate ones. Like that, they spoke to Republicans and moderates and different people, and that some people really legit would want us to be incarcerated for not having it. You're separated. I had a friend of mine who we're not really friends anymore. She's kind of on the blue side, and I'm a moderate, so to speak, a moderate conservative, I guess. And she was like, well, then we need to separate each other. We need to all be separated. And I was like, do you hear what you're saying to me? And that's
that
Don Lemon's comments yesterday. I mean, he thinks we're idiots. Anybody that hasn't been V'd, you're an idiot. That's the way they look at us. Some of them. It's dangerous rhetoric, RP.
It is, and I think that video in New York, where you see a disproportionate effect on the minority communities, it's going to become backward segregation. We're separating you for your own good.
Yeah.
And think about that. And you know, having grown up, and I had cops that hassled me as a kid. One of my greatest mentors was a cop. I mean, no kidding. He was my sensei for 15 years, man. And I'll tell you what, if we screwed up in school, he found out, you became the punching bag for the dojo for the whole week, right?
Wow.
But, you know, I've seen cops from both sides. I can't look at a guy with a badge and hate on him. But if you start setting those standards where it's going to segregate the working class, it's going to segregate Hispanics, or, oh, you don't believe, you're a Christian, you don't believe in this, we're going to put you here, or you're liberal, you believe in non-vax and pure living, so we're going to stick you. I think it's going to destroy the country like that, man.
If the way you just said that, yeah, that sounds straight out of like a Nazi playbook, man. I mean, not to take that lightly, but that's what you do, snitch on your neighbors. I mean, back in the day, we used to take care of each other. Now they literally want you to snitch on people. In some area, you know, some parts of Europe, they want you to snitch on people.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like I said, every day I wake up thinking, what's changed? What's going to happen? You know, literally, I've seen friendships ruined over this, and we are split down the middle. I think 50% of America isn't taking that. Or I don't know. You think that's a fair number to say 50% are, the other 50 aren't?
I don't think it's that far off, because even the feds are estimating it's about 65% have taken a pinch, and that's kind of skewed, because if you take certain pinches, it's only one shot a year anyway. It's like the flu.
It's not two additional ones, but still, anybody that's even took a pinch, and I have friends that have. I have friends that are in the medical industry that had to, you know, and also for health reasons. I've had friends even on here who, for health reasons, the doctor said, please do this. And they did it. And I'm not mad at them. But like you say, those can be skewed. Anybody that's even been touched the first time down to the fourth time. You know,
Right.
so you're seeing 65%, the other 35 are saying no, no, right?
Yeah.
It's
And
fair
you
to
see
say,
Bug Out. Look at what Bug Out said.
all right, but yes,
Yeah.
wait a minute. Yes, it's dangerous. I'm having to wait till I have family that will not. Okay, see, that's terrible.
Yeah, and it should be, hey, you know, I encourage you. If I was pro-med, I'd say, hey, look, I encourage you for these reasons. Let's have an adult conversation. But if you choose not to, you know, I respect that. That's your decision. I'll pray for you, worry for you, whatever. But yeah, throw you in jail. I like that.
Wow,
Earl.
that breaks my heart, Bug Out, that your family won't talk to you, and you know, and I'm with you on that. I will not comply. I stand with you.
Yeah, you know that's true, Earl.
Heirloom.
A lot of people won't. That's some deep stuff, but that's not wrong.
Myself, I'd lay low. I'd lay low in WRLL and just let it come to me if it did. I'd lay low as could be, lights out. I mean, batten down the hatchets. I would.
That's interesting what Stewart says there, because truthfully, the academic definition of liberal democracy is equal law for everyone. All ideas are valid. Every citizen has the same rights, and every idea is up for debate, including science. Science must be debated fiercely to get to the truth, and not violently, but fiercely. You know,
Fiercely,
open
yes.
discussion. And what would happen if you and I, Tennessee, we put certain things on Facebook or TikTok or YouTube right now, and we said the wrong thing? What would happen?
Oh yeah, I'd be banned for 30 days like normal, or 60.
Yeah,
I mean,
we
I
get put in the
push the
penalty
envelope
box.
on some of my social medias. I do. I do, because people, I don't know. I can't help it. Especially Facebook. I can't help it, but I need to leave that cesspool too.
You know, actually, when I post, it drops on Facebook, and I check for comments and respond to people. Other than that, even for family, if I want to send pictures to family, I just send it on the phone direct. I don't even put it there.
Lucky Dame,
Hey,
hello.
Lucky,
Who's
you're
getting a
getting a
seat in
seat
the
now.
naughty corner? She talking to you or me, RP?
It's probably both of us.
Or somebody in the chat, I hope. Lucky Dame, she's cool, man.
Oh yeah,
she's cool.
So Lucky's another one of our native Texans on the chat here.
Mm-hmm. She's a patriot too. Don't forget
Oh
that.
hell yeah. Oh yeah. And every now and then, y'all, if you haven't seen Lucky's page, please do check it out. She has some great content. She does really fun lives. And every now and then she'll go on a tear and she'll just start cursing for 5 minutes and then she'll stop.
I love it. I love it when she lets loose and drops an F. I'm like, what? First time she dropped an F, and she was like, I thought you knew, Tennessee. I can listen to her do 2 or 3 hours probably. She's just got that voice, man. And she's smart too. Witty, quick. You know, she's got that. I listen to a podcast. She needs to do one. Just straight podcast.
Oh yeah. No, I think if they have a new like prepper news on the radio, Lucky has to be one of the newscasters for sure.
Absolutely.
I like this trigger words.
Just respect for a lot of people I'm seeing. A lot of respect.
Yeah, and I mean, Tennessee, I got to tell you, this has been a great group in the chat. And I know everyone's busy. It's a work night.
Right.
But tickled about me swearing. Well, Lucky, it's because usually you're really classy and it's really everyone's having a good time, and all of a sudden something sets you off. It's not like, when we watch like Angry Prepper, right? He comes in and you could tell in the first 30 seconds if he's going to be like information or I'm going to be pissed off today, and he just goes off, right?
Both. He drops those. He drops all the F's, the MFs. He drops them all. He even has dirty names for people who he doesn't respect. I'm like, ooh, and I can't repeat those.
I was on a live of his, and I don't know who it was. Some dingbat in the chat said something, and he went on 5 minutes I was in tears. I mean, I'm in the couch. I'm crying, laughing so hard. And Sassy sitting next to me, she looks over and goes, "You listening to that fella from New York, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Yes, I am. Oh my God, you got to hear this guy."
Yeah, that's how he talks, and that's how he talk in church too. I mean, that's the same guy. You're going to get the same guy. I've never seen him humbled, but when he was with Bear Independent, that dude looked like humble in his eyes after seeing what Bear Independent and them boys can do, and him helping them. That was one of the biggest collabs I've seen this community do.
I'll tell you
is
what.
those guys.
So the two of them go into not to Tennessee, to
Kentucky.
Thank you, Kentucky, to help out on their own time and their own dime. That massive respect for that.
Yeah.
And you know,
but Angry looked humbled by Bear and them's operation. He was kind of like, these guys are the real thing. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. You could tell that he has kind of a crush on TJ now. Like, they had an interview one time, and it was very uncomfortable for neither one of them really, but you could tell Angry was sizing up Bear a little more than Bear was him. Bear's kind of his own dude, man.
Yeah,
you know,
Bear's a separate thing.
Dude comes in a room and commands respect. He's one of those kind of guys that just you'd want to get behind, you know. And the grindstone, what they do incredible work in the communities around them and the whole country.
Yeah. So, folks, I got to tell you, we're right at just under an hour and a half. But and I know both me and Tennessee do have to go to work tomorrow. But this was interesting conversation, man. I mean,
tyranny.
So,
stop the tyranny, y'all.
UK's backing down. A lot of the states, New York's like doubling down. I don't know what their story is, but
yeah. So, like you said, Cali, LA, and NY are going to do what they do. It doesn't mean that the rest of us can't just run along like Texas and Tennessee. Take it from us, y'all. From free states, y'all need to run it like we run it. Just
yeah.
But, thank God for my governor, and he ain't the best. He's not. He's no DeSantis. And you know, and Abbott's a good guy. We have Bill Lee, and he's kept us on track.
And you know, these are human beings, guys. They're gonna make mistakes. D or R, whatever party they're from. I'd like to think most of them are trying to do the right thing, but there's some just go off the rails. They get so full of themselves. You know, Cuomo's not even going to get charged now.
Of course not. These guys beat that kind of stuff. And he lost his career, so to speak. But, you know, he lost his job, but he's not going to serve a day in jail. No way.
No.
No, he gets a pass. Cuomo will get a pass on that. Both brothers will do a book called How to Get Fired on Your Day Off. The Cuomo brothers, How to Get Fired on Your Day Off.
Yeah. That was my one glee, is that him and his blockhead brother both got kicked.
Yeah.
You notice, look, so what was the guy? Was it Chris Wallace on Fox? He moved to ABC. There was someone from NBC went to Fox. Like most reporters, they kind of leave one place and they'll pop, unless they retire, they pop up somewhere else.
Yeah.
Nobody's touching Chris Cuomo. They won't touch him.
No, they're not going to touch him. The CNN dump, that those people get dumped out, and they're not. Nobody wants them. That's a failing network. I'm sorry. Their ratings are. There are YouTubers doing better ratings than them guys do.
Yeah,
you can look at the numbers.
And guys, check out Hudson. Tennessee, have you checked out Hudson Valley?
I've heard that name so many times, and I need to. I need to.
So Hudson.
Let me select that link. Hold on, Gene W. Thank you.
And he just.
No! I'm subscribed to Hudson. Yeah.
Man, I'm not getting half Cons Not News. There you go. Communist Network News.
Yeah, Communist News Network. Yeah, she's right.
But he just did a review on the e-bike, one of these electric bikes. It was badass. I was like, that's awesome. And then I looked at the price. I was like, the Rambo. And I saw the price and I was like, oof, I might have to wait for the bonus ferry for that one. Shoot.
Hey, weird tidbit. This happened to me. RP, I've been with you all along. I think I was your like 418th sub, something like that. It was a weird number, but I remember it. when I was looking for you tonight, you said, "Hey, I'll see you in a little while." I was like, "Okay, let me go ahead and get on my TV." I was like, "All right, is it under T's or R's?" I kept looking. I was like, "Wow, I was unsubbed to you. There's no way.
Really?
I've seen you the last 3
No,
days. I've been
you were on
talking
my
to you."
chats. So I got booted from, I subbed Hudson. I checked 2 months later because I got nothing and I was unsubbed. Or what they do, you're still subbed, but you're not the black bell, which is every notification. You're like the
Oh,
clear
yeah.
one. So
Right,
you
right,
get these random, and you see it 2 hours later and you're like, well, Lucky was live and, it's an hour
right.
ago. What the hell? You just missed it.
There's no way I would have intentionally unsubbed, dude. I saw you on
No.
Instagram yesterday and today. Like I've been following your Instagrams.
Yeah, we're always chatting on Instagram, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I kept looking. So, yeah, folks, double check your subs. If you don't hear from one of your favorite creators in a period of time, double check, make sure you didn't get booted, and make sure also it helps you click like or you comment every blue moon. Preferably all of them. It helps the algorithm, but at least, click a like so the computer system knows, oh, okay, you've acknowledged this video, and it checks its little box. Otherwise, away you go.
But I've been watching your shorts all week, RP. Like I've been liking on your shorts all week.
Yeah, I saw. So it's crazy, man. People have been getting unsubbed from channels.
Okay.
She got unsubbed from a channel she was modding.
See, that's strange to me. That's
Yeah.
strange to me.
That's right. Lucky and I have been missing each other's lives like the last month. She even sent me a note, was like, yeah, I'm missing yours. And then I show up like 45 minutes into her live. I'm like, the thing just binged me.
There's a weird 6 degrees of separation there. I think me and Lucky were both unsubbed to Native because I said, why can't Native see me? I kept screaming at him in his live streams, Native, I'm here. What's up, brother? And he wouldn't notice me. He wouldn't see me. And I was like, what is going on? Is one of his mods got me blocked or something? And then Lucky, I think, got to the bottom. I think it was Lucky. She said, yeah, we were both unsubbed from him.
Yeah. So,
all right,
Joe.
I'm watching what she's saying too. That's scary.
Yeah.
Because I love all my creators. If you're in my list, I want to know every video you do.
But guys, look, it looks like some of the states are backing off, but pay attention. And you guys know I travel, hence the name of my channel, right?
Right.
Pay attention to those law changes. Like I go from here to Oklahoma to Tennessee, it's the same law. I can guarantee you. I know my license to carry is good in all 3 states too.
You're good here. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But you go from here to New York City or here to Vegas or here to Cali, it's going to be a different world, guys. And LA is different from Bakersfield in California. So guys, do some research. Don't show up to the wrong place. And then what happened to that girl in the first video could happen to you. You get pulled over at a checkpoint for Rona, and they find some other reason to pull you out of your car. Don't give them the reasons. And mine ain't good anywhere.
Right. Good stream, man. This is a lot of it's kind of had me heated. I'm sort of a little upset too that it's going on because I've seen it, but talking about it with you has made me like more feeling. I feel it more.
When I was doing research for the stream, I started seeing the stats where they're saying, because think about it, in the 50s, right? The government would test meds on the soldiers, right? And minorities like blacks, Hispanics, or rural folks, as they called them back then, which was, country folk, white folks.
Yeah.
Those were the victims. So a lot of those same groups don't trust what's the feds are saying now. They're like, I remember what my grandpa told me happened in the 50s. But those are the ones that showed up on all. You saw it on the videos. Who it's affected disproportionately is the blue collar Americans and minorities. And why those groups are not freaking out altogether blows my mind.
It was 92% Hispanic and African American.
In
New
York City.
Yes. I mean, disproportionately. I mean, what's that? You know, yeah, you think about that. That's not and the black chief or the black commissioner saying this, and it sounded cheap. Like even he didn't want to really be doing that
No,
conference.
and he even acknowledged, he's like, we're investigating. Like the way his facial expression was, he's like,
Yes.
that was a mess. And it's sad because not all cops are like that, right? A lot of folks, they go out there and they just want to do right. So
absolutely,
but accountability, folks, it's necessary. Well, folks, look, Tennessee and I gotta go to work tomorrow. But I hope you guys learned something. Tennessee, you have any closing comments you want to throw out at the folks today?
No, good to see everybody, and this is keep your eyes open. I mean, this might be coming to a city near you, and prepare yourselves and your hearts and homes. And RB, thank you for having me on. This is the second time I've been on with you. You always you really got good flow, and I like watching your daily shorts too, bro. Your motivational ones about exercising and all the ones you do.
Man, I appreciate that. I'll tell you what, I was not motivated today. We're fighting a bug in the house, so Sassy called it quits. She was done with
prayers for y'all. I hope y'all get well. I hope your wife gets well.
But look,
right,
y'all,
good to see everybody.
Thank you, Tennessee, and everybody out there. God bless y'all. Take care of each other and pay attention. Watch what's going on. The patterns are there. You just got to find them. So on behalf of myself in Tennessee, y'all, God bless, Godspeed, and help each other out. We will see you later on.